Hello everyone and welcome to Sharp Dress Gaming, and today we're here with Season 4, almost at 7, Season 4 of the Delta Battle League Week 2. We are the Minnesota Wild Charge, and our our opponent this time is Ariodon, who is the coach of the Wisconsin Dusknoir. So with their team in front of us, you can see what they have in front of us and what we brought. So we're kind of covered by the play button. But they did bring Kofagrigus, Megalopony, Klefki, Dugtrio, Raichu, and Blissey. And I brought Mega Charizard Y, Alolan Raichu, Krookodile, Azumarill, Breloom, and Sableye. Now, a few things about our team that I can remember off the top of my head. We have choice specs, Alolan Raichu, so we can hit really hard. We got Psyshock to hit the Blissey, in case it wants to come in on us. We got Thunderbolt. We've got, I believe, a Hidden Power Ice, I want to say, and then Volt Switch. But, of course, we do have to worry about the Raichu on the opposite end of the field, because it probably has Lightning Rod. We also see the Dugtrio. My Krookodile is able to outspeed everything with its Choice Scarf. It just has enough to outspeed Megalopony, and then the rest is in HP. We have Azumarill. This is a weird Azumarill, because he does have Manaphy on his team. So I wanted something that was able to effectively take care of that Manaphy. So we are a Sap Sipper Azumarill to eat up energy balls, and then we have Perish Song to scare out like +3 Manaphy or whatever, and then it's just like Aqua Jet, Waterfall, and Play Rough. So it's a really weird Azumarill. It's not going to be able to do much this match because he did not bring Klefki. I mean, not Klefki. He didn't bring Manaphy. So we'll have to see what we're able to do with that. We have Focus Sash, Breloom, and then Sableye has enough speed to outspeed Klefki, so we can taunt it. And then the Klefki can't really do anything back to us other than hit us super effectively with Fairy Stab, because Dark types are immune to Prankster this generation. So that might be able to help us out here. So to lead off, I believe I lead the Krook, because Krookodile can hit the stupid Kofagrigus super effectively. It can with knockoff. We have Superpower, which one-shots Megalopony. We have Earthquake for the Clef. Dugtrio can kind of hit us hard, but we can hit it harder. Raichu we hit super effectively with Earthquake, and then Blissey we can hit super effectively with Superpower. So that's why I let off Krook. So we're going to hit player. I'm going to try and pause as much as I can. So he's going to lead, or I'm going to lead Krookodile, Dingodile to Krookodile. He leads Dugtrio. I thought about switching out, but I figured I'd just go for Earthquake. I do, which does actually show off from Sash, so that might not have been the best play to go with. But we do get that Mighty Earthquake off, and he gets the Stealth Rocks up. So I'm like, well, that's not great, but we can deal with it. So he's going to switch out the Dugtrio. I'm just going to go for another Earthquake to see if I can knock him out. But he has Air Balloon on his Klefki, so unfortunately, it's going to get to come in for free on my Earthquake. Now, I believe I switch in Charizard here, expecting him to go for probably like Spikes or something, and which I do. I switch in the Charizard, take that unfortunate Stealth Rock damage, but we can switch in 3 times the Stealth Rock because I did set my HP to an odd number, so that's going to work out nicely for us. So I'm just going to Mega Evolve, go for a Flamethrower here. If Blissey wants to come in, whatever. Everything else gets hit really, really hard by Flamethrower, and Blissey, of course, is going to come in. I'm going to Mega Evolve here, get the Drought up, and then hit that Flamethrower. It's still going to do nice damage at 31% because of the Drought being up and Charizard just hitting so hard. And with Leftovers, he'll get back up to 75%. So I'm going to switch out here. I forget who I go into here. It might be Breloom. I do go into Breloom to try and scare him out. I'm expecting him not to go for Seismic Toss here. He could have went for Thunder Wave, but he actually went for Toxic. So had I been the Toxic Heal Breloom, we would have been looking real nice there. But unfortunately, not so much. So I believe I go for Spore here, because even if he leaves the Blissey in to take that, at least he has to switch out anyway. But he's going to bring in the Kofagrigus, probably expecting my Mach Punch right away, but I knew I couldn't just go for a Mach Punch. He wasn't going to let me get that off for free. So I was between Rock Tomb and Spore, and I just ended up going Spore. So we got the Kofagrigus asleep. I'm going to see how much Bullet Seed does. It's doing about 13% every time, and we are fortunate enough to get all 5 hits. So it's going to do big damage to that Kofagrigus, and he is going to take his first turn of sleep here. So I can go for another one, possibly knock him out if we get 4 hits, I believe is what we need at this point. Yeah, 4, roughly. Probably 3. But he does switch out, and he's going to bring in the Klefki, which is nice because now I can break this Klefki's Air Balloon with my Bullet Seed. Of course, I'm not going to want to stay in any longer because we don't have anything that's going to hit this Klefki very hard, and he can hit us with Play Rough or Dazzling Gleam, whichever he ended up going for. So Breloom's going to switch out. I don't think I take another switch in, so I probably could have just left Breloom out there, but I figured I could get Bright Eyes in pretty freely here. I mean, even if he goes for Dazzling Gleam, whatever, we'll deal with it. He does go for it. I do survive it at 69%, and I'm like, alright, I've got enough speed, outspeed, no speed investment Klefki. So if he has speed investment, whatever, we'll just bring in Charizard, we'll be fine. But he actually goes for Heal Block. Not that it really mattered, because I wasn't going for healing, and I go for the Taunt. So as you saw, the Prankster made it, or Dark type making it so that Heal Block doesn't work because it was Prankster affected. So now I'm going to go for Will-O-Wisp, expecting a switch. He does not switch. Or I just went for Will-O-Wisp because I knew Foul Play wouldn't do very much. And it was useless going for Recover, considering we're almost dead. So, yeah, we just faint. We missed the Will-O-Wisp, unfortunately. But now I can bring Crocodile and get a huge Earthquake off and whatever wants to come in. Nothing is living this. So he's going to let the Klefki stay in. Takes that Earthquake and faints. Now we are at +1 because of Moxie. And I knew I needed to save this Crocodile, and I'm like, it's a roll. It was 96% to like 100 something to knock out Mega Lopunny. I could have stayed in and taken the fake out that I was expecting to happen, but I wasn't going to risk it because I knew Crocodile would be really worthwhile in this match, so I'm just going to switch out Azumarill knowing he's not going to be able to do anything. He goes for the high jump kick. We kind of eat that, so I'm like, ooh, Azumarill, my boy, what are you doing over here? So I do have leftovers on the Azu. I was going to go Assault Vest, but of course you can't use Perish Song that way. So I believe I go for Perish Song here, if not play rough. He's going to bring in the Cofagrigus, probably expecting me to be huge power. I go for Aqua Jet just to try and knock him out, because I figured he'd just go for a return or something. But he probably expected I was huge power Aqua Jet, so he brought in the Cofagrigus so that Mummy's not going to do anything for him this match, because I already hindered myself enough by giving it Sap Sipper. We did talk after this match, and he knew that, and he said, yeah, if I would have brought Manaphy, I would have been done for with this Azumarill. But unfortunately, he didn't bring it, so Azumarill's going to be useless. So I go for the Perish Song, seeing if I can knock out, or bring this Cofagrigus down with me, or at least get it to switch out at some point. He's going to bring in the Raichu, though, so now I'm just going to Aqua Jet it. Again, I really don't need this Azumarill, so I'm just going to let him die. But he goes for the Signal Beam here, which is like, okay, I guess you're expecting either Krook or my own Raichu to switch in, because that is super effective on both of them. But unfortunately, that's not what I do. So he's going to actually switch out the Raichu, which makes me believe maybe he's Choice Specs or Choice Scarf. If he's Choice Scarf, we could be in trouble. So that means he'd outspeed the Crocodile. But we get to play rough off on the Cofagrigus. Not going to do a ton. My Perish is going to drop to where I Perish next turn, so I need to get out of here. So I'm going to switch, I believe, into Charizard, just kind of sacking him off, actually. No, I switch into Raichu. Never mind. So I bring in the Raichu. We're going to take some damage. It's going to hurt a little bit. Fortunately, this Cofagrigus stays asleep. It is a sleepy little mummy sarcophagus. So I'm going to go for the Psyshock here, and knowing that he can either bring in the Raichu or the Dugtrio was what I was expecting, but Blissey actually comes in, which is just fine, because we're hitting on the physical side once again with our Choice Specs Psyshock. It's doing 44%, which is going to be able to knock out Blissey even after the leftovers, unless that was a high roll and we get a low roll. That can always happen. But he's going to let it stay in. We do get the low roll, unfortunately for us, and he's able to get a Wish up. Now, here's something I didn't know. Wish heals, it heals the amount of HP based off of the Pokemon that wishes. So he switches into Cofagrigus. I'm like, okay, maybe the Psyshock will kill it. Unfortunately, no. It does. It gets us down to 2%, and then he gets 100% Heal Wish. I'm like, that is stupid. I didn't know. I haven't run into a lot of Wish Blissies. It's usually what's it called? Soft boiled. So I think that's kind of stupid. Well, I don't know if you guys can see the chat or not. I don't think it'll be in the battle, but I said, wait, what? So he's going to switch the Blissey back out. This time he's got to just be sacking it. Or, wait, what happened? I switched out Raichu into Azumarill, and then he switches Blissey, which isn't going to work out for him because Azumarill will be able to knock it out. So he brings back out the Cofagrigus. Going to be probably his defensive wall, considering that it's been living for a while. I'm going to Perish Song up here. I'm like, all right. He's either going to stay in and heal himself, or I'm just going to try and get him out of here. So I Perish Song. So now I'm just going to waterfall this thing until the end of the days, see if I can flinch him a few times or something. But he's just going to stay asleep. He is a tired sarcophagus. So Perish is going to drop to 2 for both of us. I get a little more leftover recovery. And I'm just going to keep waterfalling here. Get him down to 73% again. But he's going to wake up here. And I believe he goes for Toxic. Yep, goes for that Toxic. So now both of us are going to drop to where Perish Song is going to knock us out this next turn. I believe this is where I sack Azumarill. I might just go for another Perish Song here. I'm not 100% sure. If not, I'm giving away spoilers. It looks like he did switch out, so that means I did not switch out. So either I went for Perish Song here or I just went for another attack. I did just go for another Perish Song. If I would have went for another attack, probably would have knocked out the Blissey there. But unfortunately, I did not. So now Azumarill is going to perish. That's fine. He really wasn't doing anything in this match, just kind of stalling. So I'm going to bring in the Crocodile. Crocodile can kind of body this team once again. Either this Blissey dies or something else dies. And if he brings in the Lopunny to take the Earthquake, it's not taking a second one. So Cofagrigus is going to come in. I'm going to Earthquake. Actually, I don't think Kof dies here. Nope, he is the defensive wall. So I'm like, okay, I still need this Crocodile. Another Earthquake's not going to knock him out, so I should switch. And I believe this is where I switched into Charizard. At some point, obviously, I switch into Charizard. There it is. Switching into Charizard, just kind of sacking him off so I can get somebody else in here, preferably the Raichu or somebody. Goes for Pain Split, gives me a little extra health. Not that I'll live another switch into Stealth Rocks, but it is nice to have a little extra health. Thank you, Cofagrigus. Thank you. So I believe I go for Flamethrower here. Flamethrower. Blissey is going to come in on that. It's not going to be able to take two of them, so or much less one. So Blissey does go down. That's one big threat out of the way. This allows my Raichu to go for Thunderbolts. Not freely yet, because obviously there's still Dugtrio and Raichu around. But he's going to bring the Lopunny, just go for a return. That was the safest play. I was like, fine, whatever. Now here, I could have brought in Breloom. Breloom might have fainted to all of the stuff, though, but I'm just going to bring in the Krook. I'm like, yes, let's go for it. Maybe he forgets what Superpower is, and I knock him out. So I go for Superpower. Boom, it's dead. No switching on Cofagrigus, which is what I was expecting. He was expecting me... he told me he forgot about Superpower, so that's why he stayed in, and he knew he'd live in Earthquake, so we got lucky that he made a misplay there. So, Cofagrigus is going to come in, obviously, because he knows I'm scarfed into Superpower. I do bring in Alice, the old Breloom, which I should have done to be safer and Mach Punch the Lopunny, but it's fine. We're going to sack it off to the Cofagrigus' Hex. And then now I can just bring in Crocodile and Knock Off for the game, because Knock Off does one-hit KO Raichu. I calculated it beforehand. It does like 110% to Raichu. That's crazy. So Knockoff is going to knock off the Kof. It's going to get rid of my Moxie, which was another thing I had to calc Knockoff for on Raichu, because we aren't getting the +1 off of knockouts. So here he brings in Raichu. I know we can knock him out. He's already got damage off on him. See ya, Raichu. He's gone. He was actually expert about Raichu. So that's what I needed to know. So now Dugtrio is going to come out. And now I know he has Sucker Punch, but we resist. As barring a crit, we should live. He gets a crit, but we do live. So surprisingly enough, we are able to pull it off, even if Showdown hates us and goes for crits. Now, that being said, after the match, we did talk a little bit. And his Mega Lopunny had Quick Attack on it. So had he known that I had Superpower, he could have Quick Attacked my Crocodile, and if that didn't knock me out, then that crit Sucker Punch would have. So we got really fortunate there that we were able to pull it off. But GG to you, Ariodon. So we are now 1-1 in Season 4 of the Delta Battle League. We looking not too shabby, boys, not too shabby. But this week, coming up here, we have the Kansas City Nido-Kings. And it's really, Kansas City Nido-Kings. And it's really back and forth between us on who wins, so hopefully we can pull out a win this season on them. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Be sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed and you want to support your team, the Minnesota Wild Charge. Remember, stay sharp, everyone, and go Wild Charge.